Hello again, this is John. I guess I should start these out with something like Jay Leno says. Welcome to another episode of Sewing Machine Nut. Anyway, this is a Kenmore. I've already done one video on this type of machine, but I picked up this second one at the local thrift store. And I just like them. We'll get into why I like them a little bit later, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like on the outside. Looks like a pretty substantial machine. Here's a shot of the back. The motor is fully enclosed behind that cover, and it's just a simple straight stitch. And hopefully a little later I'll be showing you how to use the buttonhole machine, or the buttonhole attachment, and a little guy I just picked up. It's a Zig Zag attachment. So that's what the majority of this video is going to be about. But right now I want to show you what this sewing machine looks like inside. These are just sitting here for now. I've got them all unscrewed. So it's a cast, I think it's cast aluminum. Back cover comes off like that. Front cover just slides off this way. And there is not much to this machine. These were made by New Process Gear Division, part of the Chrysler Corporation, I believe, back in the 60s. And Kenmore put their name on it. But a couple interesting things. This has a small chain drive here that runs off the upper shaft down to the lower shaft, and so then that makes it a full rotary hook on the bottom. And there's another interesting thing about these machines. If you have the opportunity to read the owner's manual, it says at the bottom of the front cover, important, do not oil machine. And if you look at some of the things underneath here, you can see why. All the shafts are running through looks like bronze bushings, and they use quite a few pieces of nylon for bearing points. This is actually the zigzag, or not the zigzag, but this is the stitch length adjuster. So when you slide this little knob left or right, it moves along here. And let me turn that a little bit so you can see it's at an angle. So this is angled in relation to this shaft. And so when the shaft turns, that angled piece moves up and down and causes the feed dogs to move back and forth. And so they use this nylon as a bearing material. And then this other piece of nylon over here makes the feed dogs go up and down. And to disengage the feed dogs, you just pull this little thing out there, and it disengages, so the feed dogs don't ride up and down. They just stay down all the time. So let's go ahead and turn it on, and you can see how it works. this slides forward is on this end, reverse is on this end. You can go all the way forward here, slide it to the other end, and you're going in reverse. And then of course 0 in the middle. They don't. They just go up and down. The feed dogs, that is. So a pretty basic machine. Nothing like the standard vintage machines that you normally see. They're fairly light because there's hardly anything to them, and they are made out of cast aluminum. Okay, we've got our buttonholer mounted to the presser bar. They call this type of attachment a top clamp. A lot of machines have a screw on the side of the presser bar, that's a side clamp. Some have it on the back, it's a back clamping, but this is top clamping. It has a little collar that you slide this on and then twist the collar down, and it clamps from the top, the foot, onto the machine. So we take the foot off and put the buttonhole attachment on, and it attaches the same way. You can't see it very well under here, but it's got a threaded collar that tightens down over the top of the mounting bar. So we've got a cam installed, and we'll just try it. I've got this is quite heavy material. I don't know how well this thing will do. I have the feed dogs down, so the feed dogs aren't trying to pull the fabric through. All the work is done on top. This plate has knurls on the bottom side of it, so it grips the fabric from the top. So when you lower the presser bar, this top plate then clamps down onto the top of the fabric, and this plate then moves around and pulls the fabric around. You'll see how that works when I get it started. So no feed dogs, and just let the top plate do all the work. And let's see how this works here. Now I went just a little bit further than my starting point, so I would overlap a little bit. Let me cut that off. And there is, I guess that's supposed to be the keyhole. I didn't look at the cam or the template that I had in there when I mounted the attachment, but it looks like it's got a little bit of a keyhole on the back side here. And this set came with 4 different sizes in addition to the one that's in the attachment now. So these are all, you can see that it's got a straight bar in the center. That means this is a straight buttonhole. And there's 4 different lengths. This is the shortest one. And this is the longest. Looks like a, what is it, 1 1/8 or something like that. 1 1/16. It also comes with this plate. If the machine didn't have feed dogs that could drop down, you would clamp this down over the top of the feed dogs, so they wouldn't be grabbing the fabric while it was under here. But I didn't have to use that because this machine has the feed dog drop that I showed you earlier. Well, that's how that works. And now I will mount up the Zig Zag attachment. It has the same type of top clamping feature. And if we look at the box says style number 3. So if you look in the book, it says style number 3 is a top clamping like this. The other styles are for the side clamping or back clamping or whatever. So we loosen the collar and pull this guy off the back side, and the templates go in underneath here, and you can see the depiction there. This is the keyhole template. They just pop in and out. And actually this Zig Zag attachment comes with its own little, well, it actually came with a wrench. It says to take off the collar that's on here. And put this one on. Okay, we have the new collar put onto the presser bar, and now we will install the Zig Zag attachment. This has thumb screw on the side, and then it's got a width adjustment for the zigzag width, 1 through 4. We'll put it at 4 and see how well it does. So we slide that into the slot. While simultaneously making sure that the fork gets over the needle attaching screw. It's easier to do if there's not a camera watching. So now we have, you see that the arm is wrapped around the screw post, and that goes up and down with the needle. So I pulled the needle out. There it is. Some other things that came with this attachment are, it has 6 little discs with different patterns on them. And they have numbers. This one has 6-6. And some are, I think, 2-2 and 2-5, and here's a 5-1. So what it does 5 stitches on one side, and then it does 1 stitch on the other side. So this would be for like a blind hem, I think they call it. Sews along one side and then jogs over to the other side. And this one is a 4-2. So it does 2 stitches on one side and then 4 on the other. The disc that is in there, the one that doesn't come off, is the standard zigzag star cam, or whatever they call these things. So we have that on. I need to tighten the collar down with this little wrench. And then put our needle back in. And you can see how that operates. That goes back and forth, very similar to the buttonhole attachment. Okay, we have it mounted. We need to put the feed dogs back up because they will feed the fabric through from the bottom side while this top foot moves back and forth. And we'll give a little stitch length here. Alright, we've got the fabric put in, feed dogs are up, presser foot is down. I have the tension on the presser foot cranked all the way down, so it's got maximum force pushing down on this foot to keep it in contact. And we'll see how it works here. Doesn't work too bad. So we have it mounted in here again, and I'll just do a little bit more. I had my upper thread set a little too low, and so it wasn't doing a very good job of pulling the lower thread out to the edge of the zigzag. Let's see if we have it adjusted any better now. Let's see, I just did this one row. Yeah, it's still, well, actually it's doing better. The upper thread tension could be a little bit higher because we see some blue through there, but it's a lot better than it was. So if I just raise that up a little bit more, we would probably be good. It's certainly not as elegant as the current zigzag machines, or even the ones in the 60s, late 50s and 60s that came with a zigzag built in. But it would work in a pinch, and if you got everything adjusted just right, it would probably do a pretty good job. So this particular attachment is a Greist automatic decorative zigzagger. And the other attachment, it was a Kenmore, came in this lovely brown box, and it has a lovely brown paint job on it. And actually the sewing machine came with its owner's manual to show you how to set everything up, and it's actually dated also 12/20/51, and it's a model 120-491, serial number 50063. So it's quite an old machine. 51, so that's 60 years old. And it's chain drive, like I showed you earlier. Fairly unique. Most sewing machines, they were either direct drive-by linkage or belts or gears. This may be the only one that is chain drive like this. It's kind of loud when it runs, but it's just a unique old machine. Before we leave, I just wanted to show the straight stitch ability of this machine. Not very quiet, is it? And the top tension is a little bit tight for a straight stitch. I would just crank this down probably a 2 or 3 to get a better tension balance between the upper and lower thread, but overall it does okay. It's just so loud. So the thing that is interesting about these particular models is the chain drive mechanism, and they're very lightweight, and according to the book you don't have to oil it, but obviously there are a couple of spots that would need oil occasionally, but you don't oil any of the nylon parts. So I thank you for watching.